Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and make another piece. Right now, we're going to make the bent piece of sheet aluminum. So I'm going to go up here to create sketch. They ask me to make a plane. I'm going to choose this vertical one, so it's the front. And the way that I'm going to choose to do this is going to be really kind of easy. We're going to want to make a bend here, right? So easiest way to probably do that is to go ahead and just do a series of lines or rectangles. So if I do the line feature, I'm just going to go ahead and start over here at the origin. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag over. And what I want to do is I want to end up with a piece that is about 2 inches across, and I'm going to then click once I've got the two, and then I can just drag straight up, and I'm going to type in a 2 right here. Okay, so it's a total of 4 inches right now. I'm going to click again, and I'm going to just kind of go over a little bit. Now I'm going to try to bend 1/8 inch aluminum. So I'm going to type in 1/8. Hit, just click one more time. I'm going to drag it on down. And I'm going to type in 1.875. Click again. And I'm going to go on back to the origin type area, right? Click there. And I'm going to go on back to the first spot that I was at. So now I'm going to hit escape, so that goes away. So if I zoom in on this, what I've got is like a 90-degree angle, okay? So ultimately what we want to do if we are going to machine this, we're going to take a piece of sheet metal and we're going to cut 4 inches, essentially, 2 inches and 2 inches, and then we're going to use the metal brake. So these distances in here are a little bit off because what's going to happen is the metal's actually going to bend, right? It's not going to be 1.875. You're actually going to end up stretching these things around. So here's the deal, right? We're not going to get a sharp corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on up here to the fillet tool. So it's going to, if you hover over that, it says it's going to place an arc of a specified radius at the intersection of two lines or arcs, okay? So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to highlight the two areas that I want to round out. So I'm going to click on this inside part here and this other inside part. And you can see that it highlights, gives a circle, and also highlights a distance. So it says 0.5 inches. So if that 0.5 inches tells me that if I put a circle in here, okay, that circle radius would be 0.5. Now, if you recall, for the metal bender, or the metal brake, I should say, it said that the radius needs to be 3 times the thickness of the material. And since we were using 1/8 inch thick material, I'm going to type in 3 divided by 8. And I'm going to hit enter. Okay. So now it makes this nice and rounded. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fillet these two on the edge, outer edge. Now that gives me 0.5. Now this is where it gets a little goofy. So if I type in 3/8 here, actually if I type in 3/8, then we're good to go. Okay. So again, it's to give me warnings of constraints and whatnot. It doesn't matter. It's totally fine. So now this is nice and curved, just like it will be once you take it off of the metal brake. So I'm going to finish the sketch. If so now what I want to do is I want to actually give this some dimension, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click extrude. So if you recall, the thickness of this, I want this to be the same thickness as the extruded aluminum piece. So I'm going to highlight that. And the thickness of that extruded aluminum piece, if we remember, is 1.5 inches. 5, and I'm going to hit enter. Click the home button. It looks like the piece of sheet metal. Make sense? All right, cool. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put, if you recall, it was fastened through the bottom, right, through like this area, with a quarter 20 bit or quarter 20 bolt. So what we need to find is we need to find out where the center is of this, okay? Or actually, I don't even really need to do the center. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this top view. I need to make another sketch. So I'm going to make another sketch, and I'm going to click on the face right here, okay? So what I want this edge to do, this edge needs to line up with the edge of the extruded aluminum piece. The hole on the extruded aluminum piece was 1 inch over and 0.75 down. So I'm going to go to my line part, and I'm going to click construction line. So I'm just going to, there's a couple ways I can do this. Let's say I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to make this line. So what I can do now, I'm just going to add in my construction lines in random spots. So if I want to, now what I can do is I can go to the dimension tool, and I can say, all right, I need this construction line to be 1 inch from the other. So I'm going to type that in, right? Just highlight them, and it dimensions it off of that. I'm going to dimension this construction line to be the midpoint in there, and so that's going to be 0.75. I'm going to hit enter. So that brings me to what would be what looks like the center of this material. Now it looks a little weird because of the just the way it's set up. But now I'm going to put in a center diameter circle. I'm going to click right there where those two intersect. I'm going to hit escape to get out of that really quick because the line type is still at construction. I got to click off of that. Go back to center diameter circle. Click. Start to open it up. And if we remember, that was 0.266. Hit enter, and there it is. Going to finish the sketch. So now we are going to extrude that piece to cut out that hole. And I'm going to type in negative 0.125, changes it to a cut feature, and I click OK. The 0.125 is the thickness, it's the 1/8. So now I can see that there's a hole there. So if I go back to the home button, boom, it looks like this. What we are going to do though is we're going to put a couple holes in this side as well. Okay, so I'm going to make one more sketch here, and I'm going to choose this side because I want to sketch on that part. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do, rather than doing construction lines, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make a couple holes. I'm just going to go right here, and I'm going to just click on this spot here. I'm going to type in 0.177. And I'm going to go again down here. I'm going to type in 0.177. Now that is going to be the free fit for an 832 machine screw, or an 832 bolt, I should say. So that's why we're going to use an 832 bolt to attach the object. So here we go. We are going to dimension this I'm going to dimension the center of that circle. I'm going to make it 1 inch. Oh, we got to click on that. I'm going to make it 1 inch. Actually, I'm not going to make it 1 inch. I'm going to make it 0.5 half inch from one edge. And I'm going to make it 1/2 inch down. Hit enter. Now I'm going to dimension this one as 1/2 inch from the left side, or from the right side, I should say, and it's already highlighted because of where I happened to place it. And I'm going to make this one and dimension this as 1 inch down. Okay. So I was just using the dimension tool up here. I'm going to finish the sketch. Now I'm going to extrude those holes, and I'm going to change my view by clicking on the cube. So I'm going to highlight this one and this one. Because I'm going to extrude them the same distance, it says 2 profiles selected. So I'm going to make that distance 0.125 inches. Now again, we check our operation. It says the joint, so that's not what I want. So I'm going to add a negative sign in here to make it a cut. Click OK. And there we go. So this now is going to attach to the extruded aluminum and wood piece with a 1/4-20 bolt going right here. So it will be sitting essentially just like this on top of the extruded aluminum and the nub of the 2x4. And then on this side over here, you are going to create a piece that is going to cover both this piece and the piece of extruded aluminum. And we'll talk about that a little bit later.